Hey there guys, Tai Tiger here, just jumping in quickly to say hi, and I hope everyone enjoys this episode. Today's guest is Acrown, also known as Jonathan. He is a fantastic story writer and cosplayer. His YouTube channel is called The Author's Crown, so make sure you do go check it out after this podcast episode. Jonathan and me have been good friends now for a little while. He also is a massive and tremendous help towards the Tiger Tales Game Over channel. Actually, saying that, without him, I don't think the channel would exist in the first place. So I always do appreciate Jonathan and his input when it comes to stories. And currently, as this podcast episode airs, I'm actually in development of a new project, and Jonathan is a massive help to that as well. This project I'm talking about is dropping in September 2024. Now, saying that, there is some background noise on Jonathan's behalf, but it's fine. It's very plausible, and you can get past it very easy. So I hope you guys do enjoy this episode. Make sure you check out The Author's Crown after you check out this podcast, because he does have some fantastic stories on there. And of course, let's dive in. Hello everybody, I apologise for butting in on what you're listening to, but I wanted to introduce you guys to a brand new podcast called the Tiger Nexus Podcast. I'm Tai Tiger, and I'm the host. I'm mostly known for the Tiger Tales YouTube channels, where you'll find stories and fan fictions that I write and read to you guys. I'm also a co-founder of the Three Range Bro Studios, but I wanted to dive into this whole podcasting thing. I'm a content creator, and I adore making content of all sorts of varieties, and I want to interview people that enjoy and make content as well. And we're talking about all sorts of things, from TikToks to YouTube to story writing to storytelling, podcasts, movies and TV shows, all forms of content you can think of. I want to interview people about. So there's going to be lots of different variety. So make sure you check out the Tiger Nexus Podcast on YouTube and Spotify. Hello everybody, and welcome to the Tiger Nexus Podcast, a place where I interview content creators and geeks alike. And of course, today I have a very dear friend of mine. He is actually one of my business partners when it comes to Tiger Tales. He's been around the Zero to Hero network for a while as well, and his voice is well known in Mark the Cornish Ranger's work a lot as well. He has his own TikTok account where he does a lot of cosplay, and he also has his own YouTube account, which we'll talk more about in a minute, where he does upload his own stories as well. And yeah, he's just a massive influence and a massive help when it comes to one specific channel of mine. So here is Jonathan, aka Acrown. My friend, how are you?
I'm doing good, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's for once the UK has good weather. It's not been too bad. I'm scared. Like, it hasn't rained much today. I'm just like, right, what's going on?
I know it's pretty sunny outside today here too.
Yeah, you Americans always seem to have, like, either the most sunny weather or the most rainy weather. There's no, like, in between. I talk to a lot of Americans, and you either complain it's too hot or it's too rainy, and I'm like, what's the middle ground?
Well, it depends on where you are. Some places it's either too hot or it's too friggin' cold.
So where you are, like, what's it at 90? Like, throughout the year, do you have more sun or do you have more cold?
More sun.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I live in the UK. It's rain 99.9% of the time, sunny 0.4% of the time, and about 0.1% it may snow. Depends.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same down here. There's snow. We didn't get no snow this year.
Yeah, but the difference is, though, when you guys have snow, you have snow. Our snow looks like someone spilled a tiny bit of sugar or salt on the counter. Your snow looks like someone's trying to hustle cocaine.
Well, actually, no, it's about the same for down here where there's with the snow.
Fair. I've seen Billy's sometimes shared, like, pictures of where he lives when it's been snowing, and it just looks like absolutely horrendous. I would not want to live there. I don't like the snow. Anyway, let's dive into your content. Let's start off with TikTok, because I feel like that's the one that we would get through the quickest. You're a cosplayer. You cosplay as a lot of different characters. Do you want to give us, like, a rundown of some of the characters people can see you cosplay as?
Well, if on my TikTok mostly, you'll see a lot of my Red Hood cosplay. Let's see, I have the Riddler. That's one I've done quite a bit. But let's see, I actually have a couple of Spider-Man cosplays that I don't wear very often. Got Zoom from The Flash. Can't go wrong with Zoom. Winter Soldier, Captain America. At one point I had cosplayed Goku, but well, I lost that costume.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of your Red Hood. I've seen Zooms. I actually think it was one of your Zoom cosplays that actually made me follow you on TikTok, I believe, way back before we were friends. I believe it was one of your Zoom cosplays, so I thought that was actually really cool. Don't you also have a Green Lantern?
I do.
Yeah. When you cosplay as Green Lantern, was it Hal Jordan that made you want to cosplay as Green Lantern, or was it John Stewart that made you want to cosplay as Green Lantern?
John Stewart, of course.
Yeah, he's the better option.
He's the best of. Well, I was gonna say 4, but it's a lot more now, isn't it?
Yeah, they keep on like with Green Lantern though. You can do that, can't you? With the Green Lantern, how it works, they could literally make a random person out of nowhere, brand new character, a Green Lantern, just because they can.
Yep.
Yeah, it seems that seems to be the gist of stuff. So what got you into cosplay in the first place?
I mean, I've always had an interest in it, but I never really started doing it until I got TikTok.
So TikTok got you into cosplaying more.
It's like the thing I seen. It says TikTok made me do it.
So what was your first official like cosplay costume?
Let's see. Probably Captain America.
Nice.
Captain America.
So, do you also do like kind of like what me and Cosplay Dude have done, where you're kind of using some household items to like put it into your cosplay?
Yeah. Yes, I have. The first one that I made fully out of just clothes, I guess you could say, is my Professor Pig cosplay.
Fair. Sorry, that's awesome. I like him. He's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, that's we'll say that a bit of a weird one.
A bit of he just bad, just a smidge, only a little bit, but yeah, he's a little bit weird. Yeah. Who would you say is like the hardest character to cosplay as? Like when it comes to getting everything together, getting into the outfit, blah blah blah. Like what would be the hardest character you've got?
I mean, as far as getting into it, probably would be either. Let's see. My Winter Soldier is pretty difficult because it's got like 100 different pieces.
Oh.
Or my Kakashi cosplay has quite a bit of pieces to it too, but that one's really fun to cosplay.
Yeah, fair. When it comes to cosplays that you want to do you have anything on the table of upcoming new cosplays?
Well, I don't have any. Well, actually, yes, I do. I always have some ideas, but currently I'm working on 2 cosplays for my next Comic-Con, which I'm going to do Nathan Drake, and I'm going to do Billy Loomis from Scream.
Cool. If anyone doesn't know who Nathan Drake is, that's the main character from the Uncharted series, which has been adapted into a really bad movie. Sorry, I don't like that film. Yeah, that's cool. You also, quite recently, actually, you went to a Comic-Con, right? And you dressed up as Sub-Zero?
Yes, that was back in March.
How did was that your like first official Comic-Con cosplaying, or have you done it before?
Oh no, that's a long line of them.
Oh, nice.
Let's see, my first one was the 4th Hokage.
Oh, cool.
And then I recently redid that cosplay, upgraded it.
Don't you also cosplay as Kakashi?
I do, and Itachi.
I forgot about those. I knew that you did Itachi. I was like, hang on a minute. I'm sure it's you that dressed up as Kakashi. Hang on a minute. I'm confused. But yeah, that you've got quite an array of different. I'm going to use the word genres of cosplay, don't you? You've got superheroes, you've got anime, you've got gaming characters thrown in there. You kind of got a nice little mixture.
Oh yeah, I try to spread it out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm slowly getting into the cosplay thing. I have an OC of mine, and then I've got Ben 10. I've actually just started uploading, as of recording this, I've just started uploading Ben 10 TikToks and putting on the Cosplay Bro 637 channel. I've actually just recently did a video where I actually pretended to be Ben 10, and he was being air quote interviewed by the press. And I just made up a couple questions and I pretended I was answering them. I've actually seen someone. The reason why I wanted to do it, I saw someone on TikTok pretending to be God, and the caption was point of view if God had an Instagram live and he was pretending to be God on Instagram live, and I was like, I should do that with Ben 10. So I was like, that'd be really cool. So I did an interview because in the actual Ben 10 cartoon, he actually, once everyone knows who he is, he does actually get stopped by the press a lot. So I thought that would be a better way of doing it. And I've actually been requested to do a part 2. So I'm kind of trying to think of questions I can air quote ask Ben 10. And then I've also come up with the idea maybe I'll get the public or my followers to also ask Ben 10 questions. But in my head, it's a case of people are just going to be dicks about it, and I'm just going to get a really obscure question, and I know for a fact it's going to be rude or detrimental or something.
Or just plain old weird.
You know, like like I did in the video. I did get air quote asked the question: does Ben use Big Chill to spy on Julie? But that ended with me getting annoyed and then slamming on the Omnitrix, and that's how the video ends. So I beat up the person who asked me that question. But like, I just know for a fact someone will ask me like something really dodgy and rude, like, you know, just I'm turning this podcast into an 18 rating podcast for just a mature audience podcast for just a second. But like, someone will ask me like, you know, oh, how big is it when I'm humongous, or something, you know, someone's gonna ask me that question. I know it.
Look, what you could do is you could just make a video just for those weird questions.
That Mark did say just do it. Mark actually has said to me that I should just do it, and then, like, you know, I can play around the questions that are a bit off or a bit weird. But yeah, I'm slowly getting into it. I'm working on. I do have a Spider-Man costume which I bought, and Amazon lied to me, and it came to me a size too small. It does fit me. It's just it doesn't zip all the way out at the back. It doesn't go all the way up. So my fantastic fiance did come up with the idea of using a safety pin. So I zip up as much as I can, then safety pin it. So I might start doing some Spider-Man stuff. It's actually the Tom Holland Spider-Man suit in Homecoming, but turned black. So it's like a black suit version of that. So I thought that was kind of cool. So that's a work in progress. And then I've been talking to Cosplay Dude about gender bending a female character, so I'd be the boy version. And as soon as I told Willie that, he was like, dude, you have to do this. This is awesome. Once I told him who the girl was. So he's rather intrigued about that. So I just gotta wait until I get paid again, and then I'm thinking that maybe I can get it together. And it'd be very simple. The item in question is the thing that's gonna cost me the most, because there's a specific weapon the character uses, and I want to get the specific weapon. And yeah, it's gonna cost me a little bit to get that. But the actual outfit itself should be relatively easy. But I thought I'd be a bit weird, and I thought I'd gender bent a character, because why the fuck not? Like that. See, that's the point of cosplay, isn't it? Is like, you know, you can be whoever you want to be. You know, like I said a minute ago to you, you've got everybody. You're literally dipping into all the ponds. You've got video game characters. You've got anime characters. You've got, you know, superheroes and supervillains. You know, there is no limit to your creativity.
I'm only limited by my skill.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's very true. So
that's a dream of mine, It's the Punisher War Machine.
Oh no, I know what you're talking about. Oh, that would be very cool. I really like that suit as well. Punisher's version of the War Machine suit. I really like that.
That makes my wallet just scream out in pain.
How much would that be?
And I mean, I have no idea because I would need to make an entire suit of armor, except for the helmet. I have a helmet already. So
I'm just gonna Google War Machine suit. I'm just gonna Google how much a War Machine suit would be, because obviously, you know, a Punisher one would be even more expensive.
Exactly.
Yeah, a War Machine suit. It's let's just say there's 4 digits in the cost, and that doesn't include that's just all dollars. There isn't like any cents or anything. It's just the 4. Like, yeah, mate, that's a hefty amount.
Oh yeah.
That's ridiculous. Holy crap. But yeah, no, that's a good one. I think my dream cosplay, I don't know, at the minute in time, because I'm so like, you know, I'm level 1 in cosplay. You know, I'm the novice. I'm the rookie here. My dream cosplays are really basic. Like, I really want to do Sasuke. I have his sword. I have a replica of Sasuke's sword that he has. I've had it for ages. And I really want to do Sasuke, and I've been kind of looking at his Boruto look, because I think that'd be easier to do than his Naruto Shippuden look.
Yeah.
I also found out that they do. I don't know if you remember, but in Naruto Shippuden, when everyone gets put into the Eternal Mangekyo, there's, I think it's 10 dream, I think, but there's like everyone at one episode, everyone wears like really normal clothes. At one point, like in one of someone's dreams, like everyone's wearing really civilian, like out of the ordinary for Naruto anyway, normal civilian clothes. Like Sasuke wears just like a black shirt, and I found out that they actually make them as well, like, you know, Sasuke's civilian air quote normal clothes. I'm thinking I could do that as well, you know, so I could do like a modern day Sasuke. So I think Sasuke's on the list. Because I know Xander, Willie's son, he's working on I think it's Naruto, and then Willie wants to do a Kakashi, and then I said that I'd do a Sasuke, so we could all do like TikToks together and stuff.
I'll bust out.
This is going to sound really weird, but I want to do a Delson Rowe from Infamous Second Son.
That would not be too difficult.
Like, I want to get the chain as well. Not like I don't need anything like really long, just something to wrap around my arm, really, like to make it look like I've got the chain on me. Because obviously he swings around a chain, doesn't he? So I want to like do that. But also I don't mind cosplaying as Comograph. It's just easier to cosplay as Delson because I have long hair. I have to put my hair in a ponytail for a lot of it. So if I do Delson, I can put the hat on, so I can just hide my hair. But with Cole, he's like a skinhead, so like that'd be hard to do. But other than that,
you can always just get a bald cap.
That's very true. I've seen a lot of like, you know, yours and Willie's cosplays, and like you both wear wigs and things, and Willie wears a lot of different wigs and stuff. And I'm like, how is that comfortable? I don't understand.
It's not.
Like I wear headphones for a good 4 to 5 hours a day, and that bugs the crap out of me. You know, I hate wearing hats and things. So I'm just like, how the fuck am I going to wear wigs? It's like Mark went to Comic-Con dressed as the Red Cornish Ranger and the Colonel Lorian, the Cornish Mandalorian, and he wore the helmet 90% of the time. Like, how are you not dying in there? Like, cosplay can kill people.
especially if it's a summertime convention. Oh.
Yeah.
I've never worn it to a con yet.
Well, me and Mark are both going to a Comic Con in August, and it's actually one of my birthday presents. Me attending to the Comic Con, like my family's all chipping in and stuff because it's 4 days after my birthday, and we're meeting David Yost. I'm getting a signature off him and stuff, which would be my first time meeting a celebrity. So that'd be really cool. But I believe he's going as the Red Corner Stranger, and I'm sat there thinking, dude, what if it's sunny? What if the UK actually has a summer? You're going to die. Like, you'll go to meet David Jost and just pass out, not from like meeting David Jost, just by heat exhaustion. You know,
maybe a little bit of both.
just hi Dave, and just pass out.
I don't know, Billy, save me.
Billy, call Alpha. But yeah, I'm looking forward to going to the next Comic Cons are cool. I like going to Comic Cons, especially it feels like, I don't know. It's just, I don't want to use the word homely. That's the wrong word. But it just feels natural going to Comic Cons because like everyone's a geek. Like, you know for a fact, every single person that's in that room with you has been bullied the same way you've been bullied, gets questioned the same way you get questioned, and gets stared at just like you get stared at. Everyone's been through the same shenanigans, you know? So it's just like, it's nice not to be judged in a big place full of geeks.
Yeah.
How many Comic Cons have you been to?
I want to say at least 10.
Damn, I gotta play catch up. Jeez, I've only been to one. Tell the absolute truth. The only reason why I went to the first one was because the whole point was to meet Mark. It's the reason why I went, to be honest. But it was actually quite funny. The second one we're going to, me and Mark spoke about it on the Saturday, whilst walking around the Comic Con, and Mark was like, "Oh yeah, I'm not gonna go to this one because it's actually closer to me. The second one is in Newport, which is in Wales. That's only an hour away from me. I can get there in 45 minutes if the traffic's good. So like, it's not that far, to be honest." And Mark was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna go to that one. I don't think." Blah blah blah. He then went home that night, and we stayed in the hotel because we had to travel longer, so we went the next day. And I'm talking to my parents, I'm showing them what I got and telling them how it went and stuff. So they send me a link to the Newport one. They're like, "Oh, this one's in August." I'm like, "Yeah, that's the one I might go to." And my parents are like, "Tai, there's a guest list." I was like, "Wait, what? They're having celebrities there?" I look through and I'm like, "Oh, that they've got John Constantine's actors going there. Roy Harper's from Arrow, his actor's going to be there." And I'm like, "Oh, I might save up the money to meet them." There's some of the Charmed sisters from the original Charmed is going. Blah blah blah. Yeah, David Yost is right at the bottom. I'm like, Mark. You have to look at this. The Mark literally within an hour had gone from, "Hang on a minute, David Yost is going to be there too." "Right, I'll see you there, Tai." Within the hour.
Complete round.
A complete U-turn, bro. Have you actually like met any celebrities at these Comic Cons yet, or no?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of celebrities at all of them. Usually, like the one I went to in March was mostly voice actors, but the one that I usually go to has a lot more like live action actors.
Is there like a specific person on your list of like who you'd want to meet at a Comic Con?
I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of celebrities I would love to meet.
Go on, give us a few.
Well, obviously I can't meet him anymore because he passed, but Jason David Frank, I didn't get to meet him at the first one I went to, but I saw him. And then, I mean, there's a lot of Power Ranger actors that I've never met. Usually the ones that are there are just from the original series. Like this year, Bulk and Skull are going to be there.
Oh, that's cool.
And Adam's there again. He was there at the first one I went to.
See, the cool thing about Adam, though, if you do meet him, and talk to him. So he's Ichigo's voice actor, and he actually does a few other voices as well.
Okay.
So if you met Adam, then like he does other stuff.
Oh yeah, he's all across the board.
I think one of mine non-Power Ranger related. I think it'd have to be like I don't know Troy Baker, who's a voice actor for a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Nolan North, he would be pretty cool because he's a big time voice actor as well.
Oh yeah, he's going to be at the one that I'm going to next month.
Nice, yeah. Nolan North and Troy Baker are some of the best voice actors going. They work together a lot as well. They're really good friends in person. Troy Baker's in flipping everything. He's Joel from The Last of Us. He's Delson Rowe from Infamous Second Son. They're just like two of my favorite games that he's in.
Look, one voice actor I would love to meet, and hopefully he comes to one soon, is Yuri Lowenthal.
Yes, he is. I said this to Jared because me and him were on the episode I interviewed him. If you give it out a podcast, if those who are confused, we talked about like the best guest we could get. Yuri Lowenthal on there. If I could have any guest on my podcast, it's him. He is my childhood through and through because he's Ben 10 from Alien Force onward. He's 15-year-old Ben and 16-year-old Ben. He is Sasuke. He's Smoke in the new Mortal Kombat. He's Insomniac Spider-Man. He's just like my entire childhood. He's everywhere. I can pick his voice out like that now because I'm that much of a fan. So yeah, Yuri Lowenthal would be absolutely awesome.
One of my favorite that I've met was not last year, the year before, is Kevin Conroy.
That breaks me, man. That like we've lost so many good people in the last 2 years. It's ridiculous. Like so many good people. Like within the last since 2020, we've just lost some fantastic individuals, and Kevin Conroy is effing one of them, man. Like I'm so glad in a way that Mark Hamill will never voice the Joker again.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounds strange to say, but because Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill was such a duo, they were Batman and the Joker in so much stuff.
Yeah.
Not just the Arkham games, there are cartoons, the animated movies, or like even in the Lego games, they were Batman and the Joker and Lego DC supervillains and stuff like that. They were just like such an iconic duo. So the fact that Mark Hamill has said, no, I'm retiring. I'm not doing about Kevin. I'm so glad he did that. That just proves how much he loved Kevin as well.
That's another one actor that I would love to meet is Mark Hamill.
Yeah, Mark Hamill would be awesome. He's so funny. I've seen interviews with him, and so he's such a lovely person. Like he's just like a giddy child half the time. So yeah, he'd be a lot of fun.
That's like Kevin Conroy. Whatever you think of him, it's true. He's like the nicest guy.
Yeah. I'm really glad he got to play Bruce Wayne live action as well. It wasn't very long, but he has been able to play a live action version of Bruce Wayne just once. I'm really glad he got to because he even said he doesn't have the physique to play Batman because he's just too old to do it. But he's always wanted to be be Bruce Wayne for 5 minutes. And I'm so glad he got to do that.
Yeah.
Because he played a version of Bruce Wayne in the Arrowverse's version of Crisis on Infinite Earth.
Oh, speaking of Crisis, that's also going to be Kevin's last voice role is in part 3 of Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Oh, that's the last. Yeah, because me and my friend James were talking about that. What would be his last voice role? His last game role was Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. We know that was his last gaming role, but his last work in general, we didn't know what it was. So I need to catch up on that. I haven't actually watched the Crisis on Infinite Earth animated movie yet. Apparently, it's not doing so well.
Yeah, from what I read, he's going to play the animated Batman again.
Oh yeah, nice. It does seem like the Crisis on Infinite Earth movies does kind of seem like it's fan service. It's not following the comics per se, it does look like, because Batman Beyond's in it. Now, Batman Beyond is in the comic version, but not a lot. He makes a small appearance. He doesn't make a huge one, but he's in a lot of scenes by what I've seen in the like clips of him and stuff.
From what I've seen, it's like they've taken a lot of liberties with it.
Yeah, yeah. It seems like a lot of like it. I don't mind them doing things like that. Because it's animated, they can get away with it. Like animation, they can do so much of animation. So I know for a fact, 20 years down the line, we could easily get another version of Crisis on Infinite Earths in animation, and no one's going to give two flying fucks. They'll be fine with it. So, but yeah, we keep losing actors, and people that people have been used to seeing on screen. We've lost. Jason David Frank, Kevin Conroy, Matthew Perry, the guy who plays Raymond Holt in Brooklyn Nine-Nine passed away.
Oh man,
it's I don't know. We're all at that age now, aren't we, where our childhood is kind of kicking us in the ass.
Yeah, I tell everybody at work that I've reached that age where celebrities that I know are going to start dropping like flies.
Yeah, it's a shame, and Stanley, like he was the one I cried over when Stanley passed away. I literally sat there. So he died in 2018. So that would make me 6 years ago. I was 20. I was 20 years old, sat in my room crying like a baby when Stanley died. I'm not gonna lie to you, that broke me, man. Because he made my childhood, legit he made half of what I am. My son is named after one of his characters, for fuck's sake. And it's just the death of that wrecked me. I was gone. I just couldn't. His legacy will live on forever as well. The Marvel characters aren't going anywhere, So I'm glad that his legacy gets to live on through his comics.
Yeah.
So when it comes to your YouTube channel, you've got a channel called The Author's Crown, which no one in particular helped you name, by the way. So, do you want to kind of give everybody a bit of a rundown of what you can find on The Author's Crown?
I mean, most of it so far has been fan fiction, and, well, I guess the crossovers are technically fan fiction too. But I've been working on just straight non-crossover fan fiction, just haven't gotten to uploading it yet.
So, yeah, I wanted to talk about your crossover trilogy that you've been working on, because you've done it in a very smart way. So you've done your second, as of recording this, your second part of the trilogy has been uploaded recently. So everyone can go listen to that. And I'm working on the third part, because I've been your narrator. I've been the reader of said trilogy for you. So I've now just got to record it and then send it to you so you can upload it. Kind of fill us in on what your Power Ranger trilogy's kind of been about.
Well, the idea of it was kind of a joke at first, to be honest. But then I thought about it more and more, and it was Halloween season, so that's probably why I thought about it so much. And then after I uploaded the first one, my brain just clicked and said, hey, this is going to be fun. So, as you know, the first one is a crossover with Friday the 13th.
Yep.
And then this one, as you know, is a crossover with Evil Dead, which is, it's even more, how did I put it? It's not something you would think would go together.
No, I that's a fair statement. It's not exactly your typical idea, but I do have to kind of spring this on people when you say you've crossed them over, you've kind of done more than that. This is more of a case of you've kind of rewritten the ninja power story in a world of horror.
Yeah.
Because it's not a simple case of, the 6 teenagers with attitude, they transfer their powers over because 3 of them want to leave, oh look, their powers are weakening or getting destroyed or whatnot, so they have to find it. None of that happens. You've done it in a really clever way. It is I wouldn't say it's gory. There's a few gory scenes, but it's a horror, so that's a fair statement. But as I never read it, and I'm going to be truthful, and I've said this to Mark and Willie, I don't actually like reading things when people send it to me. I like listening to it for the first time and stuff like that. So when you sent me the full script to Evil Zed Reigns, I didn't read it. I did not. I first read it whilst recording it. So I'm actually sat there recording it, actually rather impressed with your work. I'm like, holy crap, this is actually kind of cool.
Well, thank you.
It's really good. So, your third part of the trilogy, like I said, it's up to me. I've got to kind of work on it. I'm your narrator, which I love being, by the way. Do you want to tell people what Power Rangers is going to be crossing over with in the third one?
Yeah, sure. It's Nightmare on Elm Street.
Which, by the way, you'd never think would work, but I think that really fucking does. I think that's a cool ass idea. I think Power Rangers works really well because if you watch like the first 2 Nightmares on Elm Street, a lot of Freddy's victims are teenagers.
Yeah.
So having the fact that you've got teenagers with attitude, air quote, just kind of works.
Yeah. See, I was more inspired by like the second 3, the 3, 4, and 5.
Fair.
He's Edict. I figured it would fit more well with the whole Power Rangers theme, so they could blend together better.
So when you came up with these 3 ideas, did you go down the route of what you wanted to cross over Power Rangers with, or did you go down the route of what you thought would make more sense?
Kind of a little bit of both. Like my brain thought of ideas that I wanted to do, but then the other half of my brain said, well, let's think about which of those will work together better.
Yeah, that literally is the way I do my crossovers. That's literally how I did Jungle Fury and the Rise of the Beasts Transformers, because I sat there thinking, I think the Maximals would work really well in Power Rangers, like crossing them over because there's a lot of animal themed. Now my first thought was I'll just do Wild Force. I was like, yeah, but how would I personally make a villain that makes sense? And then my first thought was Daishi, because Daishi is a spirit. At the end of the day, I know that Jared is the main villain throughout Jungle Fury, but it's not Jared, it's Daishi inside of Jared. So I thought of the idea of like, well, hang on a minute, what if Daishi inhabited something else? What if he was on a different planet? What if he was on Zordon's planet, for example? He'd be put into an Altarian. So I thought, hang on, I could put Daishi in a Maximal. Now, granted, I did make up the Maximal. In Rise of the Beast, there are no lions, but I came up with the lion-themed one. And, I kind of made it work, so Daishi kind of inhabits a Maximal. And so I picked Jungle Fury to cross over with Transformers Rise of the Beast. But, I don't know, sometimes crossovers, you kind of look at it and go, yeah, that isn't going to make sense, but sometimes people can make it make sense. I think Camp Blood, which is your first one, the way you did that was absolutely brilliant. The fact you mixed Bulk and Skull into it as well was just genius.
Oh, thank you.
I really enjoyed working on that one. And I'm looking forward to Freddy, because out of all the horror films, Nightmare on Elm Street is the one that I've watched the most. I haven't watched all of them, but it's the one I've watched the most. I think it's the one I've enjoyed the most as well. And I think that would work really well. I think when it comes to horror, I do believe you have picked some like decent, without listening to your stories, you have picked horror themed stories that work well with Power Rangers, like just by thinking about it. Because like I'm kind of sat here thinking of other stuff that might work with Power Rangers. I don't see Chucky working. I don't know if you've ever thought of trying to cross over Power Rangers with Chucky, but in my head, Chucky would be a bit difficult.
It might would work like on a smaller scale, like maybe like a small little one-off.
On a small scale, huh? No pun intended.
Yeah.
So he went smaller scale. I was like, was that meant to be funny, or like was he being serious? Because there's a pun there for sure.
Because I think the Rangers think of just putt kicking.
Yeah, I think The Shining would be fucking awesome. I think The Shining and Power Rangers would work really well.
Possibly.
Like, if you took... I know that didn't they do a sequel to The Shining? They did, didn't they? With Ewan McGregor in it. Doctor something, in it?
Dr.
Sure
Sleep.
that's it, because isn't Ewan McGregor's character he's the adult version of the boy from The Shining or something?
Yep.
I'm sure that's how they did it. And yeah, I thought that was pretty darn cool. Yeah, I think that would work really well, to be honest.
Ooh.
But yeah, so when it comes to the other stuff you've worked on, or working on, because you've done a bit of both. So far, other than your crossovers with horror and Power Rangers, you've only uploaded one other thing, right?
Yeah.
Which is Hunter's Bane?
Two of them, actually, but they're the same universe.
Yes, there's your Alien one as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
So, what made you want to cross over Alien and Predator with... Well, okay, I say Alien and Predator with DC. They've already done that in the comics to an extent, because they did... is it Superman and Alien?
Well, they've done actually a couple different ones, but Superman is one of them. They've done Batman meets Batman. No, it was Batman and Predator, and then they did, I think, Green Lantern and Aliens, and then Superman and Aliens.
Fair enough. I knew about the Superman and Alien one because I believe that comic was really not very well delivered, because the writers tried to blend in Alien with the Kryptonian history and stuff, and it just did not work out at all. Jim is just a fantastic person to listen to. He's a great podcaster, he's one hunk of a man. He's just a great person. So you should go check out Zero the Hero if you want to listen to Jim's fabulousness. That's Zero the Hero, the podcast. Go check it out. Just to listen to Jim. Billy. But yeah, I like the idea that you did with Predator and Alien. Do you want to kind of give people kind of a rough idea of what you did exactly with it? Because I've just been saying DC. I haven't actually given anyone a specific rundown.
Okay, so with Aliens and DC, what I was going for is to not just cross over, but reintroduce the aliens into the DC universe, have them created in that universe. Which, if you know anything about the Aliens franchise, they didn't get a full origin originally. We got some movies later on down the line that kind of reintroduced it, but now they're kind of retconning those. So I wanted to focus more on them being created by this company, which in the Aliens, there's also a company that wants to harness the aliens. So I figured let's switch it up, have them make the aliens. I guess you can't really call them aliens because they were created on Earth.
Yeah, you can't really call them aliens if they're created on Earth. Xenomorphs, I guess, because that's what they are. So you can't really call them aliens anymore. They're just xenomorphs now.
Yeah, see, with what I did is I didn't really fully call all of them that until like almost towards the end of it. But I gave like where the characters are reading like a little description on where the specimens are being contained, saying they named them a face hunter, warrior,
and then you've also got Hunter's Bane, which I personally think is the better one. So yeah, I'll let you explain what Hunter's Bane is.
Oh yeah, see that one was watching Predator, and I thought of Bane because Predator takes place in the South American jungle, and I had been trying to think of a way to put together DC and the Predator. First, I thought Batman. I thought, no, that's too easy. It would feel too forced. So then I thought of Bane. And then it just kind of flowed from there. Like
yeah, with Hunter's Bane, that's personally my favorite out of the two. And like you said, Batman's too easy. I like it when people don't go for the obvious and don't go for the easier option. So like you said, Batman would have been just too easy. Batman would just been that would just been the easier route. That'd been the cheap shot. So you went down a different route using Bane. And I personally preferred it. I like the fact that you decided to go with a villain, not only a villain, but just someone that not many people would think of. And I prefer that. So by the time this episode comes out, this story would have already been out, so I can say this. I'm working on a brand new Avengers story, and it's not a part of my Marvel and DC universe. It's completely separate. It's its own thing. I am using my own mutant Oculos. He is in this, but he has different powers this time around. And it's actually going to be linked to Willie's X-Men story. And my Avengers, air quote, aren't actually any of the main Avengers. I've actually gotten characters who have been a part of the Avengers team at some point or another, predecessors or apprentices of the Avengers, and I've made a mix-match team using that. So I've got Captain America, but it's Sam Wilson. I've got Thor, but it's Jane Foster. I've got Spider-Man, but it's Miles Morales. I've got Ironheart, Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider, because Johnny Blaze gets used like all the time, and I'm like, let's give some love to Robbie Reyes a little bit. I think his car is pretty fucking cool. And then you've got things like Human Torch, and I've got a list somewhere, but like I'm using characters that aren't all the time used, and I've made them the new Avengers. And the storyline is, because me and Willie were trying to figure out why is there a new team Avengers, so I just came up with the idea of the Kree Empire have invaded Asgard and attacked Asgard by force. So the Avengers have gone to Asgard to help Thor out, and they're in a full-blown war with the Kree, and that's why there's a new team Avengers around. And that's the way we're going around it. But I didn't want to use Iron Man or Captain America, like Steve Rogers, Captain America, because everybody uses them. So I was like, yeah, let's do something different. It's like, don't get me wrong, I love Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but it bugs me that's all we ever get.
Yeah.
Like, Legacy Collection, Lightning Collection, sorry. We've got helmets, but it's all MMPR. We've got weapons, it's all MMPR. The MMPR sets of figures, there's like 8 of them. I know that's an over-exaggeration, but still. We had Once and Always. Don't get me wrong, I loved Once and Always. I thought Once and Always was fucking fantastic. I'm so glad Zach and Billy got the spotlight. Really like the new girl, but it's still MMPR. I want Netflix. If Hasbro would let it, I'd love it if we had more Once and Always, air quote, specials, but with different seasons.
Yeah.
I really want an SPD one. I really want an SPD one. Show us, Bridge as a Red Ranger. What's his team looking like? Sky as Commander. I really wanted to see an SPD one. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty.
There's also in the Super Sentai version of SPD, they're coming up to their something anniversary for their version of SPD. In their anniversary, the Red Ranger gets a new SWAT mode, and it's all red, and he looks like a badass. And I'm like, yeah, give us that. I want Power Rangers to use that.
Sentai is really good at doing anniversary episodes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think some of them have been lackluster. The one in Beast Morphers was a bit wank. I didn't really. It's alright, but the footage they used was for the dinosaur series, like dinosaur seasons. Beast Morphers season isn't in it. In the anniversary for Super Sentai, so it's a bit weird how they made that the Beast Morphers, anniversary episode. Dimensions in Danger was okay.
Well, fun fact, actually, in the Sentai, the Beast Morphers team, what's it called in Sentai? Go Busters. They were actually a major part of it, too.
Yeah, it's mostly focused on the dinosaurs teams, but in Power Rangers, they literally didn't do anything. They popped up, had a fight, and fucked off again. That's like what I'm kind of like bitching about, is the fact that because of the footage they used, it's almost the same issue we had with the Super Mega Force, big fight, the anniversary fight. Everyone was there, but at the same time, nobody was there.
Yeah.
It lacked badly.
Except for one little scene where they all take their helmets off. Or not even all of them.
Yeah, we had 8 people. I didn't mind Dimensions in Danger. I actually quite liked that one. It's a bit rushed, but I did like that one because we did get to see quite a few different people. Not everyone had many lines to speak, but we had a few different characters. We saw Trent again. We saw Gia. Did we see TJ?
Yep, we saw TJ.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's quite a few characters. Not everyone spoke, but there's quite a few characters.
And
Wes.
Rocky.
I wasn't gonna say that because I know for a fact, Zero here are listening, and I can't say Rocky because it'll set off the fucking Discord. But yeah, Rocky was there too. I don't mind Rocky. I know that everyone prefers Jason. I don't mind Rocky. I think he's alright. He was there,
Yeah.
If you could, give a Power Ranger season a anniversary, kind of like Once and Always, what season would you give it to?
I don't know, because if I had to pick, I can't pick one specific one, but I would pick something like pre-Disney area from we'll just skip Zeo and Turbo because we saw all of them, but In Space would be a good one.
Yeah, In Space would be a good one. If we're gonna give it to before Disney era, I think Lightspeed Rescue would be a really good one because of the way the dynamic worked. Because obviously everyone had their own jobs and stuff before they were Power Rangers, so it'd be kind of cool to see how far they progressed in their careers and their lives and stuff.
Yeah, that would be a really good one.
So when it comes to your fan fictions, obviously you don't have to give too much away if you don't want to, but what's coming up for Author's Crown? What else are you working on?
Well, I'm not going to give everything away to everyone listening, but you already know I have 2 series in the works.
Yes.
Which they're pretty much crossover. There's no reintroducing nothing. They're just, how would you put, meet and fight, I guess you could call it.
Well, I think we could potentially kind of say what one of the series you're working on would be labeled as, because there's a lot of comic books with the same question. There's a TV show, Marvel TV show with the same question. So I think we could say, like, we don't have to go in detail about each episode, but we could potentially say what you're working on as the question that it is.
Yeah, we'll call it the question.
Yeah, so the question is, what if he's working on quite a few different, takes on it and stuff. They are all DC stories, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I kind of noticed you kind of favor DC over Marvel when it comes to your fan fictions.
Yeah.
Is there any particular reason for that, or do you just prefer DC?
I mean, I've always been that way. There's no particular reason. I mean, I still love Marvel too, but I've always leaned more towards DC. I think Kevin Conroy has a lot to do with that.
No, yeah, that's a fair statement. When people ask me, which one do you prefer? I can't give anyone an answer to that. I literally cannot give you which one I prefer, because they're all different. So for animation movies, it's DC. If it was TV shows, then that's 50-50, because I love the Arrowverse, but I also kind of like the Marvel TV shows too. And I love Smallville and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and things that aren't connected to anything. If it's movies, Marvel's fucking dog walking fucking DC when it comes to movies, except for the Dark Knight trilogy. That's the one. The Dark Knight is the one movie I won't say is as bad as everything else. When it comes to video games, that's also 50-50, because you got the Arkham Knight quadrilogy. Is that the right word?
The Arkham Saga. I think
there you go, Arkham Saga. Thank you. So you got those 4 games, but then you got Insomniac Spider-Man, which I believe is the counteracting to the Arkham games, and stuff like this. I think they both fail in every aspect, but I also think they also have triumphs in every aspect. Their comic book runs, some of them have been absolutely wank. I don't understand what Marvel and DC are talking about. But then there's been some comic book runs that I'm like, okay, I'm on board. So I can't answer that question if someone asks me which one I prefer. I love both. I'm 50-50. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with leaning towards both at all. Would you ever do a Marvel fan fiction of any kind, or do you think you'd just stick to DC?
I would. I just have to have the right idea.
Yeah, that's fair. That's so would there be like a particular character or a particular team of characters that you'd want to do a fan fiction of in Marvel?
I've never thought about that.
Because you can still want to write something and not have an idea, if that makes sense. It's actually because talking to Willie that I actually got my idea for, because I've always wanted to write the Avengers storyline that I've written. I just didn't exactly know the team and I didn't know the idea, but talking to Willie, that's how I got the idea. So that's how I ended up writing it. So I'm just wondering if there would be like a particular character you'd want to, try doing a what if about, or writing with, or, when it comes to Marvel.
No, I definitely want to do something with Deadpool, I would think.
Yeah, Deadpool's a good one. I think you can get a lot with, get away with a lot with Deadpool.
Yeah.
There's because of the fourth wall breaking, his abilities, you can do so much with, and just because he's a twat, let's be honest, you can get away with, you can do all sorts of stuff. One idea I did have for a one-off was Deadpool lands on Apocalypse.
Ooh, that would be pretty entertaining.
Just a story of Deadpool landing on Apocalypse. He just falls through a portal, or something happens, and he just turns up in Apocalypse. And it's just a one-off idea I had the other day. I noted it down. I don't know if I'll ever do anything with it, but Deadpool on Apocalypse, why not? And I've had this conversation with Mark and Willie. This is why I like doing what we do. Turning our fan fictions into audio and stuff, because we can do the most obscure things like No Effing Tomorrow. You've had Jason Voorhees, attack the Power Rangers, and you've had Ash from the Evil Dead series, working with the Power Rangers, and I've modeled Marvel and DC, and I've given Adam from Power Rangers an apprentice, and all sorts of crap. The weird and wacky, wonderful things we can do. It's fantastic.
Yeah. The land of imagination.
Yeah, that's literally our only limitation is imagination. What would you say has been like the hardest thing to do when it comes to getting the idea in your head to turning it into a video on YouTube? What would you say is the hardest part about that process?
I mean, usually I can nail the beginning and the end. I know where to start and where I want to end it. It's like when I get right around the middle that my brain starts going.
Yeah, the bridge between.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens to everybody. I mean, the amount of times that people have come to me, or I've gone to people. I mean, Willie did it. Mark's done it. Literally, Mark's asked the group chat, the Free Ranger Bro group chat the other day. I need a title for this chapter that I'm writing. I was like, all right, give me a synopsis. Kind of give me a blurb, and I'll see if I can come up with something. And I did, and I helped them out. And it's just like, sometimes I think that's why, and this kind of works to my next point, what I wanted to bring up with you. Me and you have been working together now for a good couple months. I think me and you started talking properly in August, wasn't it? Me and you started proper talking.
That sounds good.
Yeah, and you're my voice actor beforehand because you're my Roy Harper in my War Against Gotham storyline. You're my Arsenal, and but yeah, me and you. I don't even remember how me and you started talking. We just ended up like talking all the time.
I think it was like probably blame Billy and Jim.
Yeah, but we just ended up talking like since August. It's not every single day, but we talk like every 72 hours. Easy. Yeah, every 3 days, without fail. And even if it's just checking on each other, I think me and you have become really good friends. And I value your opinion on a lot of my stories and stuff. And without you, there wouldn't be Tiger Tales Game Over. There just wouldn't be. So for the people who are confused, what I mean by that is in September 2023, I had a writing challenge. And my writing challenge was write one chapter for every story I had on the go at that time. And if I did that challenge, I would have created Tiger Tales Game Over, which is a Tiger Tales channel. So I upload my fan fictions and I upload them into audio dramas on YouTube. And all of the stories on Game Over are video game related. So the stories are evolving around video games and the world of video games. And yeah, you helped me with that. You literally, whilst going through the challenge, me and you sat there and we came up with just a bunch of ideas for loads of different games.
Yeah.
And my infamous storyline you helped me out a lot with. And when it comes to my Mortal Kombat idea that I'm kind of playing, you've helped me out a lot with that one. And you come up with some really solid ideas. You're always bouncing things off me and stuff like that. And there's also the color matrix, which you've also helped me out a lot with too. Actually, you've got your own little sub thing of color matrix going on, haven't we, between me and you? So for those who don't know, I have a story called The Color Matrix, which is about a character called Ace who sleeps in a device called the Color Matrix, and it allows him to basically live 8 hours of his life in a multiversal version, an alternate universal version of himself. And this allows me to write the wackiest and weirdest things ever, and I can dip into all sorts of fandoms. So Ace has been a firebender in the world of Avatar. Ace has been part of the Suicide Squad. He's been part of the Avengers. He's been the predecessor to Jason Voorhees. He's been 2 different Power Rangers. He's been all sorts of stuff. And Acrown here has actually got his own little thing now where in the Color Matrix, it's on Game Over as well because he ventures into air quote data worlds. So video game worlds basically. Ace has a card with a golden crown on it. and if he plugs that in, it gives him access to different universes, and whatever on the card is up to Acrown because he writes the chapters, and he makes up his own color matrix chapters. Which is so far you've done Halo, right? That's your first one.
Yep.
That was the first one, which will come out. Well, as of right now, it's not out. But when this episode comes out, it would have been out by now. So what's it like having having someone like me with the ability to, you have someone to bounce ideas off, and you've got someone, I do the same for you. I've helped you out with some of your stories. What's it like having? I wouldn't say. I guess a team is the best way to kind of word it. Did you ever think you'd get this far? Having someone to work with.
I don't think I would have got nearly this far if I didn't. I mean, just having, so like you said, even just to bounce an idea off of, it's just it helps your brain say, okay, this works, this doesn't work.
Yeah, between you, Mark, and Willie, I don't think I'd be where I am now. Just sometimes, there's certain things you say to me when it comes to game over, and I'm just like, yes, that makes sense, and like, I think, 100% I stand by the fact that without you, there wouldn't be game over. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the year, because we are recording this as of the 1st of May, which means we're 5 months into the year already, which, by the way, is fucking insane. It's mad to think we're this, far into the year already. But I'm very much looking forward to what else we can come up with when it comes to game over, because I've got a couple ideas, and just expect me to bombard you with messages at some point.
Oh, I'm ready.
See, that's what I love about you. I've actually said to you the other day, didn't I? I was like, can I be a pain in the ass? And you were like, you're never a pain in the ass. I was like, how? How can you say this?
And then you took it as a challenge.
I literally went, I was like, yeah, right, challenge accepted, bro, because everyone sees me as a pain in the ass.
Maybe you have to stick together.
Yeah, that's also very true. So you've got DC storylines, you've done crossover stuff with Power Rangers. What else, are you thinking about, storyline wise? What else are you kind of thinking about when it comes to Author's Crown? What other ideas have you got?
Well, I'll give a little bit more information on one of my series. It's going to be highly fighting game focused.
Yes.
And
when you say fighting game focused, do you want to? You don't have to tell the storyline, but do you want to kind of elaborate on what you mean by fighting game, because that could literally mean anything.
Well, and that's kind of what I was thinking. And pretty much almost every main fighting game, like from Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat, Tekken. Let's see, what else did I put in there? Injustice. Pretty much all the fighting games I could think of at the time, I'm putting into it.
Yeah, that's one of the things I liked about this idea. You came to me, and I think you just started off with like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and Tekken or something. And then I made the comment, he was like, hang on, if you put Mortal Kombat in, you should put Injustice in. And then I made that one comment, and somehow that one comment turned into every fighting game there is possible. We just end up talking like just a bit of everything. It's like Super Smash Bros. If it was on fighting game steroids.
Funny is Super Smash Bros. Is even in it.
Yep, that's very true. But yeah, I think that's one thing we bonded over, wasn't it? Was our love for Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah, I think that's one of the, which is nice because not many people play Mortal Kombat. Like, I have two friends I game with every weekend. We game every Friday without fail. And one of them is into Mortal Kombat, but he's the type of player where he'll master one character, and then you get so pissed off with fighting him because it's the one character and he's so good at it, you don't want to play against him anymore. And then the other one just can't be asked. He's lazy as fuck. So I literally have like no one to talk to when it comes, because I love the lore of Mortal Kombat. That's one of the reasons why I love fighting games so much, because the biggest fighting games have such good lore behind them. The storylines are so good. Injustice, Mortal Kombat, Soul Calibur, fucking Street Fighter and all that jazz. Have fantastic storylines. And Mortal Kombat's now done this whole thing where Mortal Kombat 1 is a new storyline. They kind of like rebooted themselves. So I think me and you quite often talk about, the new Mortal Kombat storyline and stuff, don't we?
Oh yeah, because I play that almost religiously.
Yeah, now that you're able to play it, because you haven't long gotten your Mortal Kombat on the Switch. Now that you play it a lot, I think that's also helped. And I find that I find Willie doing it all the time. Willie does this all the time. Whenever he gets into something new, it's either he will make it into a fan fiction, or you can tell there's inspiration by whatever he's into. He watched One Piece, and he didn't watch One Piece beforehand. He watched One Piece, the live action version, then got into the anime. Next thing you know, he's got a whole new YouTube channel which is a One Piece fucking fan fiction. And I like. Okay, so Far Cry. I'll use this as an example. Far Cry, I love the series. One of my favorite gaming series is, and I wanted to write a Far Cry story of my own. I've got a couple of ideas that I'm going to turn into stories, and I thought, hey, let's put one in Cornwall, and I can base the bad guy off Mark. So Mark's my bad guy. That was cool. But I got to like the second or third chapter, and I was stuck. I just couldn't. I had to force myself to write it, and if you've got to force yourself to write something, it's never going to turn out good.
Yeah.
So I played Far Cry 5 for my gaming channel, and I was hooked. I was like, oh my god, I've literally written 2 chapters. I flew through writing them. I literally, my fingers were burning through the keyboard. I just wrote really well, and I find that a lot. It's like whatever inspires you to write, whatever the case may be, you either have to go back and watch it or play it or whatever, or you need to get something new to like hook you on, because there's no such thing as a good idea. The domino effect is completely true. The ripple effect, however you want to name it. And I think since you've been playing Mortal Kombat, me and you do talk about Mortal Kombat a lot more than we used to. And I think it's going to help you with your fighting game storyline.
Oh yeah, much definitely.
So when it comes to do you have any other ideas that you're kind of like playing around with, except the ones that you're already working on? Obviously, do you have any other ideas, like whether it's just an idea, or if like you just had whether you fledged it out or not doesn't matter, but like do you have any other plans or ideas that you want to kind of work on?
Yeah, I have 2 that I haven't started. Well, one of them is kind of planned, one of them is just kind of shooting ideas around, and we've talked about both of them. Not as much as, say, my 2 big series that are coming soon, but like my Kamen Rider series I was telling you about.
Yeah,
where the one is he pretty much gets powers from comic book characters, and then one gets powers from video game characters.
Yeah, which is a really cool idea, because quite often, not exactly Kamen Riders. There are some seasons that follow the trope, but there are tokusatsu then that kind of follow a theme. Kamen Rider Gaim is all fruit for some weird reason, and stuff like that. So like the fact that you've made fiction, basically, then we'll word it that way, fiction itself be the weapon, like your forms and stuff. I think that's kind of cool.
And then the villain is even a whole another different area of fiction, we'll call it, because he's going to be a horror themed villain,
which works well actually, since he's the bad guy.
Oh yeah, it definitely wouldn't have worked as the superhero.
Just imagine that. I'm here with the power of Jason Voorhees. Dun 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 dun. Everyone just runs away.
It definitely would scare the villains off.
Well, I mean, if it didn't, then they're royally fucked up. But yeah, when it comes to the Kamen Rider idea, you would have to make, and I'm just gonna offer this now because I'm pretty good at it. You'd have to make a morphin sequence.
Well, I'll be it, of course.
And I'm pretty good at making morphin sequences, so I'm offering my help. I can make a morphin sequence. I can throw you away, and you can just insert it whenever you need the character to morph.
You're just asking to be bombarded with messages now.
Well, no, I don't mind helping. Like, see, okay, so this is the thing, right? Like, you don't have a PC or a laptop. All the stuff you do is on your phone and things. That's one thing that people need to realize that not everyone has the ability to do everything. So I have not only the ability to do it, but I have time, and this is why I offer my help to people because I have the time to sit down and work on these sort of things. Okay, granted, it did take me a little while to work on your chapter for Power Rangers Evil Zed Reigns, but no offense, that was 20-something pages long. It's like 50 minutes. So
yeah.
That would be why.
That's what happens when I get left alone with my notebook and my ideas.
Oh yeah, no, I was fine with it, but also, granted, I got a new microphone since you gave it to me the first time round, and so I redid the first bit I recorded anyway because I wanted it all to sound like in the same sort of like wavelength thing because I got a brand new microphone. So technically speaking, I redid the first half, but like I've got the ability to make this sort of. I got the time too. Like Willie wanted a banner for the Free Ranger Bros to because he's going to Comic-Con. He's got a table for the Free Ranger Bros, which is awesome. And he wanted a banner, and he made one, which was good. And then I was like, dude, like, I've got time to kill, like, hang on. And I came up with an idea that presents us as story writers, our content, but also the fact that we're cosplayers all in one banner and our names on it. And Willie was like, yeah, I'll take it. He asked me to change one picture of his with a brand new one because the one I used was older and I didn't realize that he changed suit since then. I was like, all right, yeah, cool, to chuck with a new picture and I'll swap it. But he wanted it, so I sent it to him. He was happy with that. So like, I've got the time, I've got the ability to. So yeah, if you I've said to you before, I'll read the third chapter, which I'll work on because I have a nice microphone. I'm good at this sort of stuff. And Billy always likes. I don't know why, but Billy says I'm really good at like talking. Reading out stories when it comes to like fight scenes and stuff. Like I have this like I don't know enthusiasm about me, I guess. And I'm like, thanks, Billy. Cheers. But yeah, I mean, you between me and you, we can come up with something pretty cool, and I can have it. So all you'll need to do when you record your Kamen Rider story episodes, whenever the henshin sequence is, you just slot it in and like in between. And so I don't know if you've ever listened to like Power Rangers Global or anything, but I made the morphin sequence for that, and I actually came up with all the like how they morph and stuff. I got told what they say, and I got told like how they morph, like the roll call sort of thing, but the way they actually morph, like the morphing sequence itself, I created, and everyone seems to like it. So like I'm happy to help you with that, bro.
Hey.
So what else you got other than Kamen Rider? Do you have any other like ideas you could possibly give us without giving too much away?
Well, I also have. Okay, I'm not gonna call it. It's not a sequel series. It's more of a anthology series, but it's gonna kind of take place within the realm of the same universe as my Power Ranger horror stories, my trilogy. But it's gonna be just one-offs. Like, say, I have so many ideas written down somewhere, but it's gonna be different Power Ranger teams with different. I don't even want to say horror, maybe thriller, horror, suspense.
Yeah, I was gonna say that because I know what you're talking about. I mean, you've had this conversation as well. I think the best way to put it is mature rated.
We can call
because you've kind of got horror, you've kind of got thriller, but then you've also just kind of got things that wouldn't be classed as a horror, maybe a thriller, but there definitely is not suitable for children.
call it dark fiction.
Yes, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. But yeah, like I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up to. I've actually got a story in that universe, don't I? That I've got to work on. I believe. Yes. Yeah. Okay. I've got to make sure I do that. I've got to make sure I do that. But yeah, I mean, you know, when you're able to upgrade and you get yourself like a laptop or whatever and a microphone, and your life would get so much easier. By the way, editing gets so much easier on a better device than a phone. I've said this to Jared. I do not understand how you're able to do it on your phone. That would piss me off. Oh my god. I don't understand how you don't have a headache.
Oh, I do have a headache, but they make aspirin for that.
I was honestly expecting you to say, I do have a headache, but you can blame my kids for that.
Well, that too.
That was literally when you were talking, I was like, are you about to like dish your kids on a podcast right now? Or you could just say you do have a headache because you hang out with us too much.
I could. But that would be no fun. Half of the fun, y'all, is the craziness that comes out.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, we are a bit of a weird bunch, to be fair.
But we're all like that, so we blend well together.
Yep. So when it comes to being a voice actor, because you've got some roles between me and Mark, do you have any role? Are you a voice actor for Willie as well?
Yes, I am. Most recently, I'm doing, and I'm probably going to say this wrong again. I think it's Kunzite in his Sailor Moon stories.
Yes. Okay. Yep. You're one of the one of his Sailor Moon characters. I didn't know you were one of his in his Sailor Moon story. Yeah, I'm one of his male voice actors for that too. So with Mark, you're Billy
and Goldar, among smaller other roles.
That's right. And then for me, fuck knows. For me, your main character is Roy Harper. Your Arsenal. That's like one of your main ones. Which I was happy to give you. I wasn't actually planning on putting Arsenal in the story, but as soon as you said that you'd voice, I was like, let's see. I could definitely work Arsenal in this. And then you've also I don't know if this is out by the time this episode comes out. It's up to Billy and Jim whether the crossover comes out by the time this episode comes out. But most recently, you've been my Atrocitus, which I was really impressed with your Atrocitus impression. So you're now going to be Atrocitus in my Red Lantern stories, which is cool because I can kind of do an Atrocitus impression, but it's a bit. You can tell I'm trying, basically. So the fact that I've now got a voice actor for him, that's pretty cool.
Which Mark with that voice because it's pretty much a deeper version of my Goldar voice.
Yeah, I mean, see that's how you know it works. If you can do one voice, like some voices are very similar, and a lot of voice actors will tell you this too. Like I can do Stitch, Jar Jar Binks, and Smeagol from Lord of the Rings. I can do all three of them because they're so effing similar in the way that you actually like the way that you do the voices. All three of them are very similar, so I can do all three.
Yeah.
So
it's like being typecast almost.
Yeah. Once you kind of learn how to do a particular tone, you kind of learn how to like wiggle it, and that can also change things. And like you said, your Goldar and Atrocitus are very similar, so you know how to do that sort of like gruffness, and then you're just able to wobble it a bit until you get those two different voices. I'll just have to make sure I never put Atrocitus and Goldar into a room, because that'd be a very interesting conversation for you.
Look, funny story. I was doing some lines for Mark, and it was a chapter where Billy and Goldar are talking.
Oh yeah, I'm Zach, because I told Mark that if he didn't cast me as Zach, then I'd have to throw him through his windshield. And I said the same thing about Michelangelo for his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossover, because Michelangelo's my favorite one. I've actually named my cat after Michelangelo, and so I've done Zach lines and Mikey lines before, and you can so tell that the characters are talking to each other. I was just like, I'm basically arguing with myself here.
I know. I'm like, I finally did it. I finally record myself arguing with myself. I have proof.
Yes, like I feel sorry for Willie's wife, because she's Amy. Not Amy. What the hell am I saying? She's Kimberly. In Mark's Power Ranger storyline, and then I believe he's asked her to be April. So if like when Kimberly and April are on the same panels, that she's basically just going to talk to herself.
And she's gonna say, "Is this what you guys go through?"
But yeah, but the thing is, though, I mean, like Mark does a pretty good job of making it so we do like sound different and stuff. Is there any like particular character you would love to voice as?
I mean, at first when I first started doing it, I'm like, this character would be cool, this character would be cool. But then the more I just started doing like different roles, I'm like, I just want to voice somebody because this is fun.
Yeah, fair. To be honest, whenever I was put on my Discord, I need lines. You're quite pretty like on the ball. Like I want voice actors for my Guns for Hire for Far Cry, and you instantly were like, oh yeah, I'll do it. Which you will, as of this recording, you will get audition lines for. I've just got to let Dakota go first because he was the first one to message, so he gets first pick. So I'll let him audition for both. But yeah, like. I think when it comes to voice actors, I've said this to Willie and Mark as well. We all three of us kind of have like this little group that we always can rely on. I think you're definitely in mine and Mark's for sure. When it comes to like needing new roles and like small roles and stuff. Like I want to do the Inmates of Arkham series, and I know for a fact if I say to you, "Oh, dude, do you want to play one of the inmates?" You'll say, "Yeah."
Oh yeah.
Like go see. So I know you too well.
Look, you hear something funny about my Goldar and Billy argument?
Yeah, go on.
Look, I was doing the lines, and then I had to do a scream as Billy after him and Goldar are talking, but I forgot to stop talking in my Goldar voice, so I screamed in my Goldar voice, and it sounded like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's gold. You should have just sent that to Mark.
Look, I did it, and then I saved it. I'm like, this is just too good.
Well, to tell the absolute truth, for now, I don't know if Mark's listened to the lines. I don't know if he'll ever tell anybody or find it funny, so I'm going to tell you, because you will. Me and my fiance are in the Power Ranger comics that he's adapting. My fiance is Trini now. She's autistic. She's mildly autistic, and sometimes reading is not a challenge for her. It's just sometimes some of the words she doesn't know what they say, so I've got to help her. So what I do is I get the lines, I put them into a Word document, and I break up the sentences. So let's say, okay, so one of the sentences were, okay, so the teleportation system's still working. We need to get out of here. I broke that down into two separate sentences for her to record because there was no way she was saying that all in one. So we still haven't done all the lines yet. She's still got to do episode 7 for him. And there's so many big sentences, and I'm now like having to do this. So at the end of Nia's recording, that she's got to send to Mark, I have the microphone in front of the pair of us, and I've just gone, boobies, right at the end, because I can. And then what was absolutely perfect was I've yelled boobies. I'm now going to stop recording. My fiance's next to me. She goes, yay, titties. And then I hit the stop button, and I'm just like, yes, woman. So Mark now has a recording of Neo's audio file, and it's over Trini lines, and right at the end is just me and my fiance yelling. And I was like, yes, that is gold.
Oh, that is fun.
Oh, it was so funny. Like, literally, I was in tears. I was like, oh my god. I was like, Mark, that's what you get. Oh, that was great. But yeah, I had to. It was just. I just said boobs because why? It's Mark. I know he'll find it. But the fact that my fiance joined in too just made it all worthwhile. And yeah, I don't know how long it's going to be. As of right now, anyway, like I said, it's the 1st of May. As of recording this, I don't know when Mark's going to listen to those lines. I don't know if he'll find it funny, but I surely did.
I'm sure he will. It's Mark.
Yeah, it's Mark. Well, okay, another reason why I did it though, right, is because, and like, if you ever make Mark a voice actor, expect this, and never ask Billy and Jim to be voice actors either, because you'll curse yourself. But when it comes to Mark, he's fantastic. I love him as a voice actor, and he's a lot of characters for mine. But I send him 6 lines, and I get a 4-minute long fucking audio message because he keeps fucking up his lines. Now, I personally, I use Audacity to record my lines, and I actually take away all my mistakes, so you'll just get my lines. But no, Mark keeps all of it in, so I'll give him a bunch of lines, and he'll go like, yes, Alpha, will, oh, for fuck's sake, hang on, and then he'll do like 10 times, and that's all I'm listening to. I'm like, dude, get to the goddamn line. So
Look,
just be warned, if you ever make Mark a voice actor, expect to listen to all his fucking, like, him fucking up his lines.
look, you should. When I'm recording mine, I'll sit there, and if I fuck up, I was like, fuck, and then it'll record me saying fuck, so I have to delete it and restart over. It's just, I guess, my OCD brain.
Well, see, here's the funny thing, right? With Tiger Tales, at the end of my outro now, I've made an actual official outro. I was sick and tired of rambling for so long. So I made an official outro, and at the end of my outro, I have 2-second audio clips. One of them is from Jared. Me and him have a series called If You Give a Dad a Question Mark, which is basically I give him a prompt and he tells me what he would do with that prompt, and I write and he records it. So, for example, we've given Jared the Dragon Dagger from Power Rangers and an Autobot, which was a lot of fun. So, he gave me his recording, but he asked me if I could edit. He didn't have time. I was like, yeah, that's fine. So I'm not joking, right? This file was so long because he kept on buttoning his words. And one of his files, he's actually gone, so I've kept it. And that's at the end of my outro now, is him doing that. But what makes it better is I've got Billy doing lines to me too. Now, the issue with Jim and Billy is you give them 5 lines. They will give you an 1.5 hour audio file. For no fucking reason. So I've got a hour-long audio file of Billy for like 8 lines, if that maybe, and I'm cutting them down. I've got to find it. But he's talking to Jim. I can't hear Jim. He's only recording himself. But whilst he's doing it, he's doing the lines with Jim. I can hear him go, Jim, what do you think? Maybe I should say it like this, or maybe I should say it like this. Well, because he's talking to his brother, obviously, they're dicking around and joking around, so that I'm hearing half jokes. One of the things that Billy says is, don't touch my Pringles. I have no idea why he's saying don't touch my Pringles. So because they keep doing it to Mark, Willie, and me as payback, I've gotten that clip where he says don't touch my Pringles. So now at the outro of every single Tiger Tales chapter across all 5 channels, you will hear blah, 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 don't touch my Pringles from Jared and Billy.
Oh, well, that gives me an idea to put my Arnold Schwarzenegger scream at the end of my outro.
Like, yeah, no, do it. Honestly, it's funny. And my plan is to add Mark's onto it as well. Because Mark's done it a few times. And I'm just waiting for the perfect one. I'm waiting for the perfect fuck-up so I can add it.
I was thinking you could say, for fuck's sake, don't touch my Pringles.
Yes, exactly. That's what I want to do. Yeah, like, I want to make a story out of it. You know, I want to have a scene built. But yeah, I just did it because I can. That's actually it. But yeah, I'll build up. I'm sure Willie's actually sent me a voice lines once where he's muddled up. I'm gonna have to find that. I can add Willie to the mix too.
I'm sure you'll get some from me at some point.
Well, there you go. If you ever send me one that's good enough, I'll add it to the outro and you can be part of the outro. The only problem is, though, if I keep doing it, I'm going to have like 6 minutes where I just everyone fucking up their lines.
And you just say, "This is Tiger Tail, longest outro ever."
No, I'll just have to start a new Tiger Tales channel where it's just everyone's like fucked up audio files. I should start doing shorts on YouTube where like I just put up shorts of people's like fucked up audio files. I'll get the most views like no tomorrow.
Drop it on your TikTok too.
Yeah, just put it on TikTok. Oh, that's great. That's quite funny. Well, we have been chatting for a while now. It's been a blast to have you on, but I shall give you the stage, and you can kind of tell people where to find you. All that sort of jazz. The promotion bollocks that we do at the end of a podcast. So the stage is yours. Where can people find you?
Well, on YouTube, you can find me on The Author's Crown. It's not one. It's 3 words. I didn't put it all together. TikTok and Instagram are both the same. Acrown 39.
Yep, and you can also find him on Tiger Tales, Game Over, and I don't know if you've been on Lost Stories, but eventually you'll be on Lost Stories somewhere. So yeah, you can find him on Tiger Tales as different characters. So yeah, thank you very much, Acrown, for coming on and chatting with me. It's been a blast. We are gonna have to talk about at some point you coming back on, because I now have a reputation of bringing back some of my friends who I've interviewed and geek out about something. So, for example, me and Willie have done the Shadowhunter books. Me and Jared have done the Angel TV show, and me and Xander are going to be talking about Naruto at some point. So, me and you are going to have to pick something. Me and you're going to have to plan another episode where you come on. We can just geek out about something. Tomorrow. But yeah, thank you for coming on. It's been a blast. Thank you everyone for listening. Don't forget to check us out on Spotify and on YouTube. We're on both because I'm fancy like that. Check out the Zero to Hero podcast and the Zero to Hero lot on Discord and stuff. They're a funny bunch. They're a pain in the ass, but they're a funny bunch. Of course, I'm a branch of If You Give a Dad a Podcast, so make sure you check out that podcast. With If You Give a Dad a YouTube channel, make sure you check that out too. I'm kind of giving people tutorials on how to do YouTube without all the fuss, without a budget, without, on a budget, sorry, without, a team and stuff like that. And yeah, check out the Free Range Bros. Go check out the other episodes, and I shall see everybody in the next one.
This podcast is a production of the Three Ranger Bros Studios, in association with Zero to Hero, the podcast.